Hello everybody. Today we are going to talk about how to avoid dependent student visa refusals. The reason we chose this particular visa is because this visa has a very high refusal rate, especially if you don't lodge it properly with proper evidence, and it also sometimes depends on the nationality of the student visa holder. First of all, I would like to explain what a dependent student visa is. A dependent student visa is for the members of the family unit of a student visa holder, for example, spouse, children, or de facto partner. So please don't confuse this visa with a partner visa, because partner visa is for the spouse of an Australian citizen, permanent resident, or eligible New Zealand citizen. So the dependent student visa is completely different from a partner visa. So in this particular visa, there are three common scenarios that we usually come across. So the first scenario is that you were already married when you got your student visa. You declared your partner in your application, but you came to Australia on your own, and after a while you want to lodge a dependent student visa for your spouse, and you want them to join you in Australia. And the second scenario is that if you were single when you actually got your student visa, you came here on your student visa, and after a while you went back to your home country, you got married there, and now you want your partner to join you in Australia on dependent student visa. And the third most common scenario is that if you're both here on student visas, so you both have your own student visas in Australia, and now you're married, and one of you wants to come off their student visa and join you as a dependent on the other person's student visa. So in all these three scenarios, you will have to make sure that your partner meets the definition of a spouse or a de facto partner. So to meet the definition of spouse, very briefly, it's like you have a marriage certificate, and to meet the definition of the de facto partner, you should have been living together for at least 12 months. So one more thing I want to mention here is that if you are in one of those situations where you were actually married when you lodged your student visa, but you did not declare your partner in your initial student visa application, and you came here on your student visa, and now you want your partner to join you as the dependent, unfortunately you won't be able to do that because you never declared your partner. So in this situation, the primary student visa holder will have to actually lodge a brand new student visa here on shore and declare their partner in their new student visa application, and also explain to the department why they did not declare their partner in their initial student visa application. So it usually happens when your agents offshore lodge your student visa and they do not declare your partners, thinking that you may not get your visa, or they think it's not important to actually declare your partners in the application. So if you are in this situation and you want your dependent to join you in Australia, please get in touch with us, because we will be able to help you in this situation. So in all the three situations that I mentioned before, there are 4 factors that the department will actually consider when they are assessing your application. So the first factor is financial aspect. So it is a very important factor, because in this they want to see that you rely on each other financially and you've got joint bank accounts. And especially if you both are here on student visas, make sure that you have some real transactions in there. For example, both your pays are going in there, you are actually buying grocery and paying the bills through the joint bank account. So opening a joint bank account may not be enough. You will have to actually show some transactions as well. And also, if you both are here on shore on student visas, another thing that you can show is that if you're planning to buy a car, for example, you can have the car under both your names. And if your partner is offshore, again, you can show some kind of loans or bank accounts or joint bank accounts, and also again show some transactions on that bank account. And the second factor is the nature of the household. So in this aspect, you can show any joint properties that you might have offshore under yours and your partner's name. If you both are here onshore, you may want to show your lease agreements, your utility bills. And if you have any children, you have to show that you're actually caring for the children together if you're onshore, and even if your partner is offshore, you know how you're actually caring for the children when you were over there. So these are the few things that you can show under the nature of the household. Now let's move on to our third factor, which is the social aspects of the relationship. So your marriage certificate would come under this factor, and if you have registered your relationship, if you're in Australia, that would come under that. Any traveling plans that you may have, your itineraries, that would come under that. Your Facebook status, your Instagram pics, any photos that you would have taken in a social setting would come under this factor. You can also attach statements from your friends and family, providing a statement that your relationship is genuine. So all these things can be provided under the social aspects of the relationship. And the fourth and the last factor is the nature of commitment. So under this factor, you may want to write a statement about the history of your relationship, how long you have known each other, what are your long-term goals, how long you have lived together, to convince the department that you actually see yourself living with each other together in the future. And you can also add each other as the beneficiary on your super funds if you both are here onshore. And if one of you is offshore, you can maybe have a life insurance and add the other person as the nominee on the life insurance. So apart from these factors, there are still few things that I want to mention in this video. So the first thing I do want to mention is the GTE criteria, so which is the genuine temporary entrant criteria. So your dependent will have to meet the GTE criteria. We did talk about the GTE criteria in detail in one of our previous videos. We will put the link in the description. To meet the GTE criteria, maybe your dependent can show some strong employment prospects in their country, maybe a job offer letter that they will have employment once they return to their home country, once the student visa has finished. The second thing I do want to mention is the financial evidence. So in most cases, 99% of the cases, the department will ask for financial evidence for both you and your spouse. So even if you're studying in a level 1 or level 2 university or college and you were not asked for financial evidence in your own student visa application, but if you are trying to get your partner over to Australia on a dependent student visa, department will ask for the evidence of funds. And the third thing that I do want to mention is that you yourself should be a genuine student. You will have to prove to the department that you yourself are a genuine student before you invite your partner to join you in Australia. So if you yourself are hopping unis or colleges, not attending classes, failing subjects, have got too much study gaps, then that will affect the outcome of your dependent student visa. Also, one more thing that you need to know is the duration of your visa which is left. For example, your own visa is expiring in 6 months and you lodge the dependent student visa, which can take up to 4 months before a decision can be granted, then you won't have enough visa left and the department may refuse your dependent's visa based on that. Also, please update the department when you have got married. So even if you do not plan to lodge the dependent visa straight away, you have got married, there is a form which is called Form 1022. You can Google that form, complete it and send it to the department, notifying the change in circumstances. So you may want to update the department that you're not single anymore and you have got married. So apart from what we have discussed already, there might be a few other things that you may have to consider depending on your particular situation. So I'm happy to discuss this with you in detail here in the office. And also I would like to say that if you've had any previous visa refusals, we may still be able to help you. Please feel free to get in touch with us if you have any questions.